Hi, everybody. This is Angelique Tsang from Ageless Gen. You are born infinite and ageless, and I'm the founder of Ageless Gen. And I was inspired by an article about ageless generation, that as we age, we actually act less of our age. And, despite the fact that we're so-called in our mid-age or that we're even older than that, we still feel young and we do things that defy age standards and norms. And because of that, I was so inspired to actually do something about this thought, this new cultural trend, or this new group that is called the ageless generation, because I definitely identify with it myself. And I started thinking about how can I serve this community? But it really was like an idea that was just like on the back burner, and I wasn't really inspired. I wasn't really clear. And then, let alone, I basically had this amazing idea, and they were all like drips of ideas that I did not implement because I wasn't clear. And then suddenly one day I was at the Global Women Club in Amsterdam, and it was like a year after I was pitching Ageless Gen. Idelma and Geraldine were pitching their new course, and it was Spice Up Your Online Presence. And they were teaching us to, in 2 days, to really get clear about your ideal target audience so that you could create the most convertible, relevant content and ad campaigns and promotions. And I did, they didn't have to, they almost didn't finish the pitch, and I already knew I had to be on that course. And oh boy, am I so glad that I was on that course. Despite the fact that we had to be there on a Saturday and Sunday, which is my weekend, and so I didn't have a weekend, we really had to work. I'm so grateful. After I did the course, like after day one, I was already like, why didn't I do this earlier? How much money did I lose by not doing this earlier? So after the 2-day course, I gave a glowing testimonial to both Geraldine and Idelma. And I said to them, you know what? There's so many people in the world that need to know about your product and service. And I would love to interview you so that people that are walking around with like vague ideas about who they are targeting, what is the target audience of their product and service, that they could be inspired by hopefully this interview by these two amazing professionals that are internationally working with lots of different customers. They're already working with, basically companies, but they also want to really create an offering for people that are just starting out or people who are just revamping, their product and service offering. So I would love to ask Geraldine and Idelma to basically introduce themselves very quickly, their background and why they created this online course. Who was the person who thought of this online course?
It's actually the genesis of us meeting at Global Women because we're operating in the same space. And so I had an online course that I was doing for French female entrepreneurs already that had about 150 people that followed it. But it was really an online course entirely. And I really wanted to come back to the face-to-face because I really believe in the value of the face-to-face. First, I wanted to get it behind my screen and meet people again because I work from home. And I also wanted to do it with somebody and not just on my own. And I really believe, like I was saying, there's a power in the face-to-face, but for the participants as well, in terms of being there, doing the work. You can't push it at tomorrow. You benefit from your interaction with other people in the group who might bring a different light or different ideas, or actually asking you the tough questions as well that help you to move further with your business. And yeah, that's it. And then when we started talking with Idelma, we just realized that both of us were really complementary in our offering. So in terms of my background, before Idelma introduces herself, so I own an online marketing agency. So that's the bulk of what I do. So I worked with brands and I work with people offering services as well. And the main service that we're offering is Facebook and Instagram advertising. Basically. So that's the main thing. That's the core of our business. So a lot of e-commerce and lead generation. And then on the side, because I wanted to work with smaller entrepreneurs who might not be able to afford somebody that can take care of all that for them, then that's how I started teaching, basically, because I'm an entrepreneur myself and I do understand how difficult that is, especially if you have no guidance.
Yes, thank you. Idelma.
Yes. Well, Geraldine already told the introduction story, how we met and why we decided to work together, because like she said, we really complement each other. So I have a background. I've been more than 10 years in sales and marketing, and the last 4 years focused on video, mainly because I see the amount of videos growing rapidly online, and I feel each entrepreneur can really benefit from using this powerful tool to grow their business, to be more visible online, and to reach the right audience. So I mainly focus on video pitching, which is like an about you video, but also video strategy. So you can create a one-time video, but what about a long-term plan? What type of videos could you benefit from? What type of tips could you share, etc. So during the second part of the course that Geraldine and I organized, we also really focus on video, how to get started, what about the script, what do you need? So quite practical, really hands-on. And it's been a lot of fun so far, and it's great to see people like you who really are enthusiastic and can tell us how much they benefit from it. So thank you for having us here today.
Yeah, the reason why I really wanted to put these two women in a spotlight is because I think, you know, you can create and buy any course online. Like literally, I have bought so many Udemy courses that are really affordable because they're really going to teach me YouTube and Facebook and Instagram tactics and strategies. But to be honest, do I ever have time to do it? No. And even if I had time to do it, you are in, you know, it's like when you're learning, you have to implement as well. And you're still trying to figure it out all by yourself. And there's nobody to talk to. So you get stuck. And so when I subscribed to this course, I was really grateful that I had to push myself to be in a class for 2 days with these two experts and with other people that were doing the course. And what we got out of it was that we actually realized that if we weren't in a class together, forced to be there, you know, so many hours a day and to do that exercise as we allocated the time, I wasn't going to do it. I was going to do it maybe, you know, and then just, oh, I'm going to make a cup of tea. Oh, I'm just going to do this, and then really forget about it. And if we know this about ourselves, that we are starving for time, we're attention deficit, most of us, we really don't do the things that really should accelerate our business, then I think, you know, this is a very small investment. This specific course is such a small investment for the clarity you're going to get. I can tell you for myself, my testimonial is that as we went through all the exercises one by one, I really started to get into the heart and soul of my ideal client. And I really started to understand how much value I had to offer and how much needed my products and services were. And I got more and more and more excited. And before that, I wasn't sure. I wasn't really sure who they were. I wasn't sure how much money they had. I wasn't sure what problem I was solving. So that's why I really told Geraldine and Idelma, we really need to put this interview on, because there's so many people probably like me who have amazing ideas, but no clarity, and they don't understand the relevance of allocating the time to really dig deep into your ideal customer for a specific product and service, because you might have several ideal customers per product or service, right? So Geraldine, would you like to share your slides, please?
Yeah, definitely. So what I found very interesting in the process as well is the fact that because it's such a small group, we don't take big groups. It's maximum of 8 people at the same time. We really can spend a lot of time. And I really believe that if we did not spend the time that we spend together, really like pushing you to go further on your specific audience, I don't know if you can actually get the same results when it's very hard sometimes to know what you don't know. And it's much better to actually have somebody that is coaching you. So we keep the group very small for that very specific reason, because it's almost one-on-one coaching with the added benefit of having other people in the group that you can resonate with, basically. So I'm going to share my screen. And what I want to do with you today is to explain, we talked about audience, but before we move into the audience, I want to explain exactly what are the components, some of the components that makes a high-performing image post and a high-performing video post. Because most of the time, people come to us and they want to take the training because they say that they have a hard time reaching their audience, they have a hard time being heard, they don't have engagement, and especially they don't see any sales behind, you know, after they're posting. So people feel a little bit discouraged over time because all their efforts that they're putting into writing content, which is already difficult if you don't know what to write about, is not turning into anything. There is a very specific way to write content for Facebook, for Instagram, for LinkedIn if you're on LinkedIn, and you have to follow that very specific structure. So I've picked 2 examples. There are more of those formulas, and we will share them with you during the training. So I just picked 2 of them that are related to beauty. It's not a brand that I'm working with because I cannot show you my own customers because, you know, of NDAs and everything, but I've picked this brand specifically because they really understood who their target audience is. And it's a brand that is making, I believe, about 7 million revenue a year, and they're just a couple of years old. So this is really possible, and most of their sales are coming from online. So let me share my screen now, and we'll have a look at this together. All right. Can you see my screen properly?
Yes.
Cool. So this is what I call a high-performing image post, and I'll show you a video. So in terms of the structure, it's very specific. So what is this? Oh, actually, it's not the same image. So it's the, what is this? Okay, anyway, that's okay. I'll just write onto it, and I'll send you anyway the presentation afterwards so you can see it. Something changed here, but how is it structured? That you have at the top here, where you see the little stars, you have owner's benefit statement. That's super important to open with an owner's benefit statement. Why? Because those persons are resonating with the message that person is putting there. I use this product once a week. My face feels extra clean and fresh. It's like facial in a bottle. You can see that person. This is not a 25-year-old model. You can see immediately, but she looks glowing and she looks radiant. So personal testimonial. Under that, you have the ownership benefit. You have that beautiful picture that people can relate to. At the end, when you see under fresh skin, clean pores, this is again ownership benefits. And then you have learn more, which is a call to action that is pushing people to actually go to the website. So you can write many, many, many different posts using that structure. Testimonial, ownership benefit, a picture that looks like your customer, a picture of the product as well. This picture is very easy to do when using, you know, tools like canva.com, for example, or there are plenty of apps that you can use on your phone as well to create that type of content. Don't forget to close again with an ownership benefit and then a call to action, which is learn more, or you putting it, you know, instead here all in 5 minutes, you can actually put the call to action right here. So that's the very first one. In terms of the high performing video post, there is a formula that is called the testimonial sandwich. It's a very funny one. Or the love, demo love formula. You start with a face to camera testimonial. So you can have several people, 10 to 15 seconds per person. They're super excited about the product. They love it. You go through a few different people, why they love it, what the product is. You do a demo of the product. If you sell services, this is where you actually bring the structure of your service. What is it that you're actually providing people? And you close again with a fast to camera testimonial, same structure, people super excited about the product and why they love it. So basically you start very strong, people identify with it. They are like, okay, I want that result for myself as well. Then you explain what the product is about. And this is usually where you start losing people a little bit. You know, their attention goes down, it's less exciting. And then you close again on a high by showing again, you know, those face-to-camera testimonial and why people are excited. So basically in terms of the, I want this product, what is this? Okay, and then the people are again excited and you remind me of all the benefits that I can get for myself. Mm-hmm. So that's how it works. You have testimonial, demo, or explanation of your service and a testimonial. So that's why we call it the sandwich, basically. So instead of making a dry video that is not super interesting for people that you talk about your product, because actually people are not really interested about your product. They're interested about what it brings them, which what the testimonial talks about. You actually make it much more interesting and compelling for people to even just watch your video until the end. So this is a high performing video in terms of conversion. This video, I can guarantee, is a top seller for this company. And I know it because I was also in one of the masterclass with the owner of the company, and that's exactly what he said as well. So this is one of their high performing video posts in terms of sales. But before you can do that, you need to really understand who your audience is. Why? Because if you try to target everybody at the same time, this is not working. especially in the beauty industry, there is ageism, but there's also reverse ageism. And what I call reverse ageism is the woman who's 60 years old looking into beauty products. She doesn't want to hear about the 40-year-old because the 40-year-old has not gone through menopause most of the time, doesn't have the same type of skincare needs. She doesn't want to hear from them. The woman who's 70 doesn't want to hear from the woman in their 50s. So if you're starting to mix all sorts of content there, the target audience that is going to end up on your Facebook page, Instagram page, or even on your website, actually, is not going to recognize themselves. Imagine the 60 years old arrives, the first post that she sees is somebody that is 30-year-old. She's not interested. She's just going to scroll past. She's not going to go down your page to see if there's a content for them. People don't do that. And we don't do that ourselves. So our customers are certainly not going to do that. So it's very important that you segment by age in the beauty industry. And very important that you use people to look like your customers. So if your target audience is around 40 years old, use models that look 40 years old. That is super important, especially because of the reverse ageism. If you're targeting women who are older, there's a huge market today for beauty for women who are 60 and over. Use people who are 60 and over. Like this lady, for example, that brand specifically is targeting women over the age of 50 years old. And they use models, real models and real women. They're actually looking that age, but they're glowing and they're very exciting and they're full of energy. So that's the appealing part. So, but for this, you really need to understand who is your target audience if you don't want to talk to everybody. So we have like a little image, so that it's a graph that I can show you. So what you really want to do is focus on your target market, the people who instinctively, immediately are going to be in love with your product, are going to be your biggest advocates as well, because they're going to tell all their friends about your product. They love it, the price is right, this is your target market. Then you have, the extended target market. The extended target market are people who might not be your target market. So in the beauty industry, that might be people who are a little bit younger, but they're actually interested in the product as well because they want to preserve what they have right now. Then you have the people who are really interested in your product, but they actually don't have the budget to pay for it. So especially if you have, a high price type of product, there are people who would love to have it, but they can't. They're still interested. They're still going to interact with your content, but they actually don't have the money to buy it. Then you have the people who are in the same environment, but they're not interested. That just might be just female who are actually not interested in the beauty industry at all. They're just like, splash a bit of water on their face in the morning and they're out the door. So no point trying to convince themselves that your highly specialized product or service is going to help them. And then you have the people who are absolutely not in the target market, like men, for example, or children. No point trying to reach them or spend any money in advertising budget with those people. So now what does that mean for you? I'm going to give you a few examples. Imagine you're selling a very high quality serum that women are using, and you're targeting, like installed sign of aging already. So your target market might be 40 to 50-year-old women, and they have the money to spend. They do care about how they look like, and they will not hesitate to put a high price on the product if it's bringing the result that they're looking for. So this is your target market, 40 to 50 female with high purchasing power. Then you have your extended target market, which will be a 35-year-old. I mean, she sees that type of product. She's like, okay, I really want to immediately, fight the first signs of aging. I want to buy that product. She also has a high purchasing power. So she might be looking for this. She's not exactly the target market, but she's your extended target market, and that the sales can come into this. That's what we call the halo effect. You're only talking to 40 to 50, and you're going to attract a few 35 years old, for example. Or you might attract actually a 60-year-old who has really beautiful skin already. I mean, I have a bit of Asian blood, and I know that my skin, for example, doesn't line so much. So for me, the product, and maybe I'm misguided there, but I imagine that I can use product for people who are a little bit younger than me because I don't actually need to deal with those very deep lines in my face. Then you have the women who are super interested. They're 40 to 50 years old, but they don't have the money, or they have specific skin issues that prevents them from using your product. So no point at all spending all your energy trying to convince people to actually buy your product. They don't have the money. They might buy it once. So you're going to spend a lot of money and time to try to acquire that customer, but they're not going to come and buy it again. It's like the people who have, they buy La Prairie to be able to put them in their bathroom, but they actually don't have the money to buy the you know, in 3 months time, another $500 product because it's just too expensive. So La Prairie is spending zero time trying to convince these people to buy their product. They're actually focusing really on their target markets. And then you have the people who are in the same environment, not interested, and everyone else. So they're female, not interested by the product category. So in terms of really who you want to focus on your target market. And most of the time, what we see is people are trying to focus on where I have the red cross, the people who are interested, and they're pushing really hard to bring them to buy the product. Forget about it. There are enough people on the market today to buy your product who are already passionate about it. What you need to understand is where they are, who they are, and how they reach them, basically.
And I think this is the best chart that you can ever think about, because imagine that when I was doing this, I wasn't clear that my audience, I wasn't clear about the age. I wasn't clear that they had money. And so I was trying to appeal, just as Geraldine was saying, I was trying to maybe convince people that didn't have money, that they should be spending the money. I mean, why would you even go there, right? But any type of business, you only want to work with people that can afford your product, and you need to know the price points and you know, the margins that you want to make. And once you're clear on that, you just need to know that if you really believe in the quality and the superiority of your product or your service, that you can market it knowing the needs of your target audience, because they're looking for a solution and you have a solution to their problem. And this is why when we sat together and I realized how much my product was needed and how much my channel was needed, because these people are so like looking for products. It is like a jungle out there. How can they trust what's being sold to them day in, day out? And there needs to be a channel where people are going to help them navigate the choices that they can make. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is such an enlightening course. Yeah.
And you can be completely unapologetic about targeting people who have the revenue to buy your product. So you, like, the photos that you're using can reflect that without you being afraid that it's going to push away people who actually don't have the revenue. It's okay. It's actually a really good thing. You want to push away the people who don't have the revenue to actually buy your product. Imagine you're a coach, different type. You're a coach. Realistically, how many clients can you really take on a year? Can you take 50? Can you take 100? Even if you take 200, 200 is already a big number. But I can guarantee, you know, like I'm in the Netherlands. In the Netherlands, there are 200 people in the Netherlands that are willing to buy your product. Somehow, somewhere, you just need to reach them. You don't have to reach millions of people. Most of us today are not equipped to be able to serve 1 million people. Even if you're, you know, in network marketing, you probably don't have the customer service to be able to handle 1 million customer inquiries today. Maybe it's going to come in the future. And in the future, you can rethink your target audience and the way you communicate. But right now, most of us can only handle a certain number of customers. So it's okay to say, these people are not my customers. It's very hard. And that's also why it's important that, you know, we work face-to-face and we can coach you through this, because most people, when they come to the workshop, they have their barriers here. Like, well, yeah, but if I don't talk to these people, I will have no customers. No, your problem is not that. Your problem is that you don't know how to reach the ones who are your target market. And this is what we teach basically during the workshop.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And a lot of people, it's good that you're actually talking about it, because a lot of people want to reach everybody, and then they're not thinking about, some people are not even willing to pay the money. They might have the money, but they're not even willing to pay the money. So we have to be so clear.
Yeah.
We're in a business,
if
not
they
a charity.
have to run you to the ground by asking for discounts and everything, they might have the money, but they're not your customer. Who wants to work with nightmare customers like this? You know, we'll just be waiting for the discount and they're not buying full price.
Yes.
You know, you can afford actually just targeting the people who are willing to buy full price. You don't have to take, you know, to make so much effort to try to convince them. Yeah. And they will, on top of it, be your biggest advocates, and they will buy again, because most of the value doesn't come from the first purchase. Most of the value comes from the repeat purchase. So you really want at first to spend your money on the people and your effort in marketing on the people who are going to buy again. So if you spend so much effort trying to convince somebody, they will come up with lots of excuses for not buying again. So you have to, again, have a lot of effort to try to get them to buy again. So focus on the people who buy your product, will love it, and will buy again, because the lifetime value is where the money is coming from.
And I know that we had this conversation about it's better to target the high-paying clients, because they will actually invest more. When they pay more, they invest more, and because of that, they'll get better results. Whereas if you got to talk about people that want a discount in advance, they're just going to look at, they're just going to look at it as a commodity. And that has clarified my strategy so much for another company that I'm running, that we really, my business partner and I, we just thought we want the highest quality clients. So this is the price tag that we have. And the rest of the people who don't want to pay it, they're just not our clients. They're just not who we want to work with. So yeah,
exactly.
it was an amazing.
And there are other solutions for them. And that's
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely. So I'm going to try to stop sharing. Oh, perfect. Because my mouse has disappeared. All right. Cool.
Idelma, could you please share your presentation of a video?
Yes, of course. 1 second. Something is not completely right. It should be this one.
I could see it.
No, I know you could see it, but I wanted to show you the this one. This is what I wanted to start.
Yeah.
So during the course, no, it's not one. Yeah. During the course, we're laying basically what Geraldine explained. We're laying your foundation, what you really need in order to to reach your audience, the audience that is waiting for your products and that is ready to invest, and that they find out about you. Because like you said, Angelique, if there are so many products out there that customers sometimes get confused by all the options. And if you don't share the right type of message that will appeal to them, then they will probably never find out about you, which is a pity. But in combination, so once you have the foundation, we really focus on using the power of video, because you see in the last couple of years that it has grown so much on all the social media platforms, the amount of videos that are being shared. But there are things to think about when you start recording your own videos. But in this little presentation, I just want to highlight some of the facts and stats, so you have an idea of how much it is growing and how it is working marketing-wise. So what we see is that the demand is growing with 54%, so it is really increasing, and you can tell, like Instagram introduced the stories not that long ago, but that has also, that's one also of the reasons why it has grown so much. And you see like live options on all the social media platforms more and more. So nowadays also on LinkedIn. I don't think it's available for everyone yet, but that will be the near future. Also on YouTube, etc. What we also see is that 87% of marketing professionals use video as a marketing tool. So all the big brands out there are really focused on video. And what statistics show is that 66% of video marketers get more qualified leads by using video. So it really helps in getting those important leads that you need as a business owner. And we also see that by using video in the right way, you get 88% more engagement on your website or on your social media channel. So it really increases the likelihood of visitors staying longer on your website. Furthermore, so if we focus just on the different social media channels, and I'm just focusing on the main ones, there are more of course, but just the main ones, we see that, for example, on Facebook, there are 8 billion views a day, and that is also growing. And we see that LinkedIn video was named one of the most effective platforms for video marketing. And why is that? That has to do also with the fact that LinkedIn only introduced the video option a couple of years ago. And you see it slowly growing more and more, but for professionals, there are still so many possibilities by using video. And Instagram videos get over 2 times more engagements on post. And that also has to do with the Instagram stories and the Instagram TV options. So there is more engagement. And finally, YouTube. It's been out there for a long time, of course, and Google owns YouTube, which means it's also the second biggest search engine. And you might have seen it when you type in something on Google, when you look at the results, at the top part, you also see the main videos related to that topic. So by using video in the right way, your company, your product, your brand could be out there. And then finally, TikTok, it's relatively new, but we see that it's really growing more and more. What used to start as a channel that was mainly used by teenagers, nowadays we also see possibilities to use it more in a business type of way. And it has grown rapidly for within a year to 1 million views per day. So that is really, really big. And I want to end my part with focusing on how video can also help you in your know, trust, like strategy, because by seeing you or your company or your service on video, first of all, they get to know you, of course, and because they actually see a human being and they hear their voice and a little bit of the way they move, etc., it also increases much the likelihood of sooner starting to trust that person, because you actually feel like that person on video is personally talking to you. So it's much more personal, which leads automatically to also being liked much faster. So in the whole sales cycle, we see that by using video in the right way, you much faster attract new leads, but also close the sale much sooner. So yeah, it's really, you can't really deny, you can't really ignore video anymore. It should be really part of your marketing strategy in some way or form.
Thank you so much. I mean, these are staggering numbers, right? And I think if we don't understand how we are even serving the net, that we actually click on videos sometimes just for entertainment or just out of curiosity, that we see a lot of text, we start scrolling, like thinking, oh my gosh, am I going to read this, right? Yeah. Especially because text is so small on phone and we're mostly consuming from a phone. Video is a bit much bigger and you can make it really engaging and just really with the right format, just by repetition, people feel that they know you. Yeah. So I know that you guys have a next course lined up. I mean, what is going to be the sequence of how often you're going to create a course? Because I know a lot of people I work with, they're not in the Netherlands. I mean, your next course is in the Netherlands, but are you know, what are your plans regarding dates and schedule?
Yeah, well, the next course is scheduled for 4 till 6 of February, so in a couple of weeks, and we have another one scheduled for March. So every 6 weeks there is another course available. We changed it a little bit to better serve the group, because it's now a 3-day program. Because, you know, Angelique, it was quite overwhelming, it was quite intense, and we realized that it takes some time to process all the new information and insights that you get. So we felt it would be a little bit more relaxed if it's actually 3 days that you really dive deep. And also it's during the week, it's no longer in the weekend. We listened to the feedback that we got. So the first part, Geraldine will focus on laying your foundation, getting to know your target audience in depth and creating the right appealing message. And then in the second half of the course, I will focus on video, how to use it and all the practical stuff. And we will also practice with video. And I can give you a little bit of feedback. So that's more or less the outline of the course.
Yeah, and it really, these are the building blocks that they build on top of each other. So if you don't have your audience, then you cannot move forward. So we really spend the first part really focusing on your audience. And then we look at your offer. That usually when people look at their offer in the view of the work they've done on their audience, they realize that there's a disconnect between their current offer and the audience that they've defined. So we have a very specific process how it works. Like we have a workbook that you go back with and you have to write your own answers. It's highly structured. So it's not a PowerPoint presentation at all that you just have to follow and take notes and do it on your own when you go back home. When you go out of that course, you have the work done already.
Yes, absolutely. And I can say that that is what I had. And the workbook is full of the work that you have done during the course. So I would say it's a boot camp. It's a mini boot camp because you're going to work hard. It's not about consuming information and thinking, yeah, when am I going to do this? No, you're going to do it at the time and the present moment. You're going to be asking interactive questions, and other people are going to give you feedback as well as to what is coming up. And that is why it's so highly engaging and it's highly productive. And, you know, I even made some new friends there and met some new business partners. So, you know, you just never know who you're going to meet because they're all people that are working in the same field or who have, you know, who have networks that you could benefit from.
Yeah, completely. And we really teach you the techniques that when you're back home and in front of your computer, you suddenly don't feel like, oh, finally, I'm not remembering anything. So when we move from the offer to the message, we also teach you copywriting techniques, very specific copywriting techniques that are going to help you push through the writer's block, because it's very difficult. I mean, I'm not a natural copywriter myself. So what I do is I have techniques and I just need to fill in the blanks. And those posts are working because I just need to fill in the blanks. They're proven techniques. We did not invent them. There are, you know, professional copywriters that are using them, and we're teaching you this, and we help you review. So the fact that we're taking us a little bit more time is that we have more time sitting with you. You've write your first post, and we go through those posts, and we can give you feedback. We can help you refine those posts. So we teach you actually how to write. So when you're out, you can write some of those high-performing posts yourself. Mm-hmm. So it's not a conference where you're sitting and taking notes and photos of a PowerPoint presentation. It's a boot camp. We're on your back telling you to do the exercise, and we're doing the exercise with you as well.
Yeah, that is the benefit of being in such a great, amazing workshop that will actually shift your business around. So how can people find you? What are the websites that we should be going to?
That's a good question. We will share the link with you so you can share it with your audience. We created a page especially with more information, all the details, payment options, etc. And also some testimonials like yours, but also from other people, just to get an impression of how others went through the course and what their the benefits were that they got out of it. So we will make sure you'll get that and you can share it with your audience.
Yeah, and you can reach out to us via LinkedIn or Facebook if you want to, you know, ask more questions and need to understand a little bit more what the course is about after you've read that. So don't hesitate to reach out, ask those questions. If you're not sure that it's for you, like don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll be happy to discuss it.
Great. Thank you so much. I will make sure that I tag these women so that you can find them. Okay. Thank you so much for your presence, for serving so many amazing entrepreneurs. And I look forward to hearing from my friends who I recommend to go to your course. Yeah?
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.